Well, that was lovely, unexpected and lovely. Goodness, Tom. Oh, I'm sorry. There's video evidence. Okay, it was me.
Well, I would have done a much better job than that.
That's true. Yours would have been deep and have a vibrato to it. Anyway, my apologies. Hello, welcome to Chubs Gone Wild, number 425. 425. We're a quarter of the way into the 400s. We're almost at my weight. No, anyway, it is January 2nd, 2022. No, it's not. It's 3rd. What was that about? January 3rd, 2022. And it is currently edging its way toward 52 degrees with a chance of rain outside the Chubs Gone Wild remote studios. Yeah, right there. Tom's crying. I don't know why. It was probably because I burped at the intro and he's like, oh my God, this show is ruined forever.
Well, I'm just thinking if the professionals listening to this episode, we're doomed.
Oh yeah, there's oh yeah. Joe Rogan, right? He's gonna, be all like, I'm gonna listen to every podcast to see if they talk about me being.
No, I'm talking about LinkedIn. I'm constantly getting hit up on LinkedIn.
Really?
By professional podcasting companies or.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Now that you say that, I get some of those too, and I get a lot of emails to our email and the other podcasts to do their email, constantly wanting to sell their podcasting services, and I'm like, girl, don't even bother with us. We're far gone.
But we can double, triple your listeners.
Yeah. We can do that too. All we have to do is do shirtless videos and we'll go way up. Just saying, it's true. All right. Hey, anyway, it is 301 days until Halloween. 356 days until Christmas. That's not right. Is it? How many days in a year?
365.
Oh, I guess it is right then. I don't know. Sorry. I guess the antibiotics are clouding my judgment.
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. 15 days till Martin Luther King Jr. Day. 42 until Valentine's Day. Just 6 days until season 2 of Call Me Cat premieres.
I saw a preview for it last night. They've got a good show coming on after it too. Pivoting. Is it based on Friends? Pivot. No.
Oh. Well, that's cool.
It's got Jane from Happy Endings in it, so I'm gonna love it. I'll love it.
I never watched Happy Endings. Yeah. Oh well, my bad. But I'll watch Call Me Cat, so I'll probably end up watching the other one as well. All right. Well, Patreon. Guess what they do? They offer folks a way to support creators and receive rewards not open to the general public, like special podcast videos, books, and more. Okay. Now we want to.
Oh, I remember my dream now that I couldn't remember.
Oh, is it something you want to share on the air?
No.
Oh.
But it had to do with people we know that were serial killers.
Well, that's not a far stretch. And
we want the universe. Okay.
we want to
commercial break.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. We want to thank our current patrons: Clint, Nephi, Nick, DJ Stas, Hedge from the Universe, Eric, Sean, Brother Sinatus, Phoenix Dave, and Moose P. Please visit patreon.com/Matt Burlingame and see if there's something over there you like to donate for as little as $1 a month. Yay.
Did you see that Moose P had some snow this morning?
Oh, yeah. I didn't get a chance to look too close, but I saw like a video or something.
That's North Carolina.
That's not normal.
No, and Egypt had snow today.
That's not normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's nothing going on, so
Yeah, it's just a fluke.
Yeah. Anyway, well, in this day in history, in 1990, the Panamanian director, dictator, Manuel Noriega surrendered to the U.S. In 1973, joined George Steinbrenner's group buys the Yankees from the CBS. In 1957, Dalip Singh Sond assumes office as the first Asian American and the first Sikh elected to Congress. Oh, that's pretty progressive back then. Anyway, 1925, Mussolini declares himself dictator of Italy. 2004, the Mars exploration rover Spirit lands safely on the red planet. In 1521, Martin Luther excommunicated. Very, very different than the Martin Luther that we're going to celebrate in a month or so here. Also, 1924, King Tut's sarcophagus was uncovered. Now that's the part that goes down like you swallow, right? The sarcophagus. When you eat. No,
that's a tomb.
Oh, well, that's a very different thing. Huh.
Yeah. Oh, look, they found his what do you call that?
Esophagus.
Trachea.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they find all sorts of things out there. Well, let's see if we accidentally celebrated a holiday today. It's the Festival of Sleep Day. Oh, crap. I'm late for that one. Humiliation Day. Well, we're recording. Eventually we'll get there. Anyway, J.R.R. Tolkien Day. Also Memento Mori. National Thank God It's Monday Day. Again, forcing your religion. National Chocolate Covered Cherry Day. Don't like them.
Have you ever had good ones?
I'm going to say probably not. The only chocolate covered cherry, or the only cherry thing that actually had a cherry in it that I liked. Remember those candy bars that were like a clump of stuff stuck around a cherry?
No.
No, it was like, I don't know, cherry bomb or something. It was just like this.
Oh, yeah. They
Okay.
had a candy bar. It was like a mound.
Right, exactly.
Chocolate, yeah.
Yeah, and when I was a kid, I liked those. But if you give me some Queen Anne ass cherry or something like that, no freaking thank you.
It's because those things are years old.
They taste like it.
Well, because you can tell something's wrong because the sugar has coagulated. It's returned to its granulated state. And when that happens, because I've had them where they're just fluid, it's just a chocolate, fluid with chocolate with a lovely clear fluid and a cherry in it. And I'm not a big fake cherry fan anyway, but
right.
They're very luscious. But yeah, Queen Anne's is the garbage pit of cherries, chocolate covered cherries.
That's a good description. So I will reserve some judgment on that till I have a really good one. But I don't like chocolate covered strawberries. Everybody just thinks they're the most amazing things ever. I just don't. Well, I love strawberries and I love chocolate, but just no.
Oh, the reason why the chocolate covered cherry was strawberry was so special was you usually got at one time you could, if you got them at like Valentine's Day, we didn't have strawberries readily available everywhere, like we do now.
Okay.
And so it was like a special event. Oh, look, chocolate covered strawberries, aren't they fabulous? And it's like, yeah, I could do this myself with a double boiler and going to the grocery store. It's not that special. It was at one point, but what I don't like about it is that I don't like to bite into the chocolate and then there's this rush of juice.
Yeah.
Very messy.
It doesn't do anything for me. Never cared for them. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Also, what?
No, that's it.
Okay. It's National Drinking Straw Day. Well, for those of you on the video, I don't have never mind. But I have many drinking straws.
I don't like straws.
I didn't for a long time, but then I don't know. I just got into, I think maybe it was because I had like a sensitive tooth or something. And so I was using a straw. And then I feel guilty. I don't want to use the like straws that plastic things that you throw out. So I just bought two different types of straws and kept them. And I love them. They work great. So anyway, National Weigh-In Day.
Boo.
No, wait.
Boo.
No? Okay. I agree. Yeah, boo. National Right to Congress Day. Like that would do any good anymore. And also Women Rock Day. All right. I believe that. All of our women listeners, you rock.
Everybody can rock. And well, no, it's just I think we've got to stop. We've got to stop picking just one person and going, you're the one that rocks. It's like we should appreciate everyone.
Yeah.
And I know women need that extra push because they've been shoved down so many times by men over the centuries. But
yes.
Oh no. God, if they didn't have babies, they would rule the world.
Yeah. I think we need more women sensibility. Only not a Marjorie Taylor or whatever the fuck her. Right. I didn't want to give her name.
Well, the difference between women and men is women are nurturing and men just want to blow up things.
And sometimes men just want to blow things. Oh, all right. Well, let's move on. You ready? Today's affirmation.
Is it?
Today is the start of a new adventure, and I look forward to it eagerly. Yeah. Moving on. Let's find out whose birthday we've got coming up. Eventually. Here we go. Oh, I guess, wow. Don't have any birthdays today? How weird is that? Well, upcoming birthdays, we've got happy birthday to Deborah, Sarah, Liz, Kevin, Santos, Carlos, Angelique, Roy, Mike, Byron. Oh, you know Byron. Yes, from the Bears. Yes.
Yes.
Also, Joanna, who used to be your co-host on Being Gay Today. Her birthday's coming up. And also that Larry Vader. Oh. Interesting. Lots of great birthdays coming up. I'm excited. Of course, according to this, after January 9th, I don't have apparently any birthdays until February. What the hell? I don't know. Facebook. Go figure.
Oh, yeah. Blame it on Facebook.
I blame everything on Facebook.
I've noticed that about you.
I know. It's how I roll. It's unique. All right. We do have a little bit of something in our feed bag, and that comes from Sean, who says, Happy New Year, Chubs. Saw Encanto on Christmas Day and enjoyed it. I did too. Well, I don't know if I saw it on Christmas Day, but I really liked it.
I saw it on Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I think that's probably when I watched it.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I just didn't like the story as much as I hoped. I did love the music, though, and I loved how beautiful it was.
I agree with you that there was something in the story. It's like it was 3/4 of the way there. There was just some little something missing from the story that didn't drive it home. It's like the Disney, like, oh. But it was beautiful. The music was awesome.
Well, want to know what I thought what was happening in it, which this is not what happens, but the reason why she never got her, she didn't get a power was because this is what I thought ahead of time, that the grandmother stopped her from finding out what her power was because her power was taking over for the grandmother.
Oh, that would have been a great story.
And so it's like, well, I just didn't want to give up my part of the family. And it's like, you'll never give up your part of the family, grandmother. You are who you always will be, until you die. But yeah, it was like she didn't want her to realize that she was going to have to basically give the crown away to the granddaughter. And that's why she left her without any clue, because she could manipulate that.
Right.
So Chub hugs, any Chub hugs that you have this time?
I want to send out a Chub hug to anybody recently who has had to have dental stuff done. Because, man, I did it today, and I'll talk about it during my week, but it was just like so nerve-wracking. So, love you all. Did I have any others? I've been really forgetful lately.
I don't know. Are you done?
Yeah, I think so. How about you? You got any?
Oh, thank you for asking.
Oh, I forgot that I had to ask.
Okay. On Christmas Eve, my friend Mike put down his dog.
Oh, now was it Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve?
I mean, New Year's Eve. Sorry, New Year's Eve. He had to put down his dog.
Oh, sorry.
My friend Damien, his dog died New Year's Eve. And New Year's Day, my friend Brian in Palm Springs had his dog put down.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was like it was a nightmare. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day.
That's awful.
So, and I know that well, believe me, if I know three people, personally know three people, it must, it's the time of year. What happens is it gets colder, and animals react to that, and when they're not feeling well, and it kind of kicks in, because I hear a lot of people who have their animals, dog, cat, bunnies die in the winter, and it's tough. But I just feel bad, because now forever their holiday, that New Year's holiday, is going to be tainted with that memory.
Right. Yeah.
So, and I know, because I when my poor baby was put down, I remember that time every year now.
Yeah. I remember each one of my babies. I remember the dates. And it was only a couple days before Christmas that we lost Socks. And that was a couple of years ago, and it's still, you get to that date. But one of the good things that I try to remember is on Christmas Eve was the day that you remember Audrey, my dog Audrey from years ago, actually came to us. So I always considered her our little Christmas miracle. Anyway, I'm so sorry to hear about that. And I guess I should also send some Chub hugs out to anybody who's still struggling with the loss of Betty White passing away.
Well,
there's a lot of people. What? Go ahead. Sorry.
What's interesting is that in 2021, okay, well, first of all, Mary Tyler Moore and Valerie Harper had both passed away.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, they had passed away beforehand. But in 2001, Georgia Ingalls, Cloris Leachman, Ed Asner, Gavin McLeod, and Betty White, the entire main cast of the Mary Tyler Moore Show, died. The surviving ones died in 2021. All of them.
Wow.
Within a year.
Wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like having all the Brady kids die the same year.
You just shut your whore mouth.
See, I mean, it's just so, I mean, and it's just weird. It's just weird.
Yeah, it really was. But I mean, and how embarrassing is it for, what was it, People magazine? One of the magazines that did the whole celebrating 100 years of Betty gets out on newsstands the same day that she dies at 99.
Well, I mean, they were doing something nice for her. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's not their fault that she died.
Oh, you don't know. I don't know.
Well, on her Twitter page, she posted on New Year's, 2 days before, the People magazine's out. I'm so excited to have my health and to all this love from everybody on what will be my 100th birthday.
Oh. The whole thing is just sad. And I was a little trepidatious with Betty for a long time, but she did so much. She did so much good for people. And she really became a major icon for our culture. I mean, just you don't run into many people that are be like, ugh, Betty White. I mean, everybody was like, the first thing that people were throwing out there when COVID hit was somebody wrap up Betty, put her in a chamber so nothing happens to her.
Well, one thing I heard that was also interesting was, and I didn't know this. First of all, she was supposed to be one of the first hosts of the Today Show.
Oh.
And what happened was she had been doing kind of like news and entertainment news.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, no, just go hire that Barbara Walters, because she was good. If she took the job, Barbara Walters wouldn't have gotten the job.
Oh,
which is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not to say that Barbara Walters wouldn't be Barbara Walters still.
Oh, yeah.
That Betty White was one of the first women in the 50s to be producing her own series. Because it was like her and Lucille Ball.
Yeah.
They didn't like women messing with their men's world of television that was coming out. And it was just, you go back and you look at all the stuff that she had done before. We think she just arrived when she was Sue Ann Nivens. She had a whole lot going on before that.
Oh, yeah.
And not just the, being on TV game shows like Password, but
which was very cool.
Yeah, she had done so much before that. Actually, the show, it was called something with Elizabeth, like Life with Elizabeth, back during the 50s, and they said she was going to have a guest on the show that was Black, and southern states, let's say, said no, you can't do that. And she goes, why not? And they go, we'll pull the plug, we won't show the episode. And she goes, well, then we'll see you next week then, won't we? She stood up for them in the 50s. So yeah, she's been pioneering for people and animals and human rights her whole life. So yeah, it's more than just an icon. We lost somebody really important.
Yeah.
But I also saw somebody put down that she may be gone, but we still have decades of her talent and her inspiration.
Right. So. Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I told you that I'd been watching Mary Tyler Moore, like, again, so that I could actually say that I'd seen all the the episodes, all the seasons and everything. And I really love her on there. I just thought that she was kind of the kind of bitchy character when I watched it as a kid or whatever, because what do you know?
Right.
Whenever she walks into that room, she is talent, and there's no rose about her. She is like a sexy, sexual, all over Lou Grant type person. She's very, yeah. Anyway, it was a great loss, but she lived a very long life and did a lot of wonderful things. So we have that.
Yeah, but a life not well lived is much worse.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and get into current topics as a way to bring us down. Sodomy laws are being used to persecute gay queer people. A man is still being forced to register as a sex offender due to a 2001 sodomy charge, even though SCOTUS overturned such laws in 2003. Arizona doctors could face prison time for providing therapeutic care to trans youth. The bill would force teachers to out queer students to their parents and harm trans youth by denying them life-saving care. Pop culture star Denise Ho, or lesbian pop star Denise Ho, arrested amid growing crackdown against China's critics. Ho, originally well-known pop star who came out in 2012, has been targeted by China as a threat. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken condemned her arrest. There's still shit going on in the world, people. Think that just because we have rights, it's all over. Not true.
Well, yeah, that's why I keep saying, if you, get out of these states.
Mm-hmm.
Sam Kinison always said, he made a joke back during his time period where he didn't understand why these people in Africa would live in these terrible places. Why don't they just move? And I know it's but in the same sense, if you've got a transgender child, move to California.
Yeah.
Move to New York, move to someplace that isn't going to, these horrible people in these states that are running these states, Texas, Arizona, Florida, move.
Right.
Yeah. Find a state that you can raise your children in, because that's really what it comes down to. You're raising your children in hateful states. Maybe it's time to think about a career change.
Yeah.
Go to Oregon, Washington.
Well, and that's one of the crazy things too, is that they're talking about the influx of people from California that are mostly right-wingers that are moving to Texas and Florida, but especially Texas. And I'm like, ugh. No offense, because we do have some dear friends, Tim and James from the Taste Like Burning podcast, who were from Texas, moved to California, then moved back to Texas. And I'm like, why would you move back? Oh my God. Why? But there are liberal pockets. We have lots of friends down there in Texas. Hello, my oldest friend, Nephi, from Texas. But it's a scare. It's just, he talks about how we as Californians live in a blue bubble. And I'm like telling him that's bullshit, because we deal with the racism and the Trumpists and all the bullshit constantly around here too. But then when you look at it from where he is, his entire world, including most of his family and everything that he's close to and deals with every day, and people that come into his work and everything, they're just as red as can be. They may be more liberal when it comes to like gay people. They may not be as racist, but they are just like hardcore red staters.
Oh yeah.
I know. It's just like, and I kind of like, okay, yeah, I guess we do live in more of a blue bubble, because, I can go deal with a bunch of people. And like just going into the dental place today, I think it was like me and one other person were the only white people. Everybody else was very diverse. Then I went to CVS, and all the pharmacies and all the pharmacy tech were all sorts of different people, different races, different things like that. And I think, again, I was like probably the only white person that was there. And you know what? I like that. It's nice.
I do too. I like I like the diversity.
Yeah.
It's so interesting while I'm because you and I watch a lot of streaming stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching, I'm trying to think of what the show was. All the shows I'm watching, they're all diverse. It's like they may be fantasy worlds. They could be worlds that, let's say, took place 300 years ago, 200 years ago,
Right.
And all these worlds that weren't, or these time periods that weren't diverse are diverse, and it doesn't change anything for me.
Right.
It doesn't.
It adds to it.
I'm not going, well, I really don't think there'd be a black duke in the 1800s of England.
Yeah.
But once you stop thinking that way, then it's just okay.
Yeah.
Who cares?
It's so, and I have to say that it's nice. When I say it's nice, I know that probably comes off as a white. Oh, it's so nice to have different people around. But seriously, it is so cool not to just, I mean, to have so many different people and we're all doing things and getting along and not, I don't know, I'm probably sounding really stupid or privileged or whatever, but I'm just, it's like when we talk about when we talk about TV and movies, tell it for, I don't care if it's the same story, but put diversity into it, because I have heard all the white stories. I've seen all the white families. I've seen all the white movies. Give me something new and I will watch it.
Right.
You know, anyway. Anyway, so now that that's said, Tom would like to talk to you about.
Oh, okay. Well, my week, it's just been, first of all, I've been having this sounds terrible, but hip pains, and it's not because I fell down. It's because what happens is when I'm sleeping, I tend to stay on one side longer, or because I'm a side sleeper. I don't sleep on my back.
Yeah.
Never have, never will. That's why even if I needed a CPAC, which I don't, I couldn't use it because you can't move. I mean, you can't.
Right.
And I roll under, I don't roll over,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm going from side to side.
Totally.
So anyway, so I tend to stay in strange positions longer, or my leg will move forward and then I'll put different weight on. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
So I've been having some of that going on. Last night I got out of my chair and I fell back into my chair because, well, when you are not strong enough on one side, sometimes like the leg will give out or the knee will give out because of it. But fortunately there was a chair there to fall back into.
Good.
And then I climbed into the hot tub and that helped. But
jealous.
But yeah, it's like I've got a heating pad on my right side right now. Like I'm so old. But I know people who are very young who have these kind of aches and pains.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's an old thing,
No.
although I do. Anyway, so and the other thing is I can't sleep more than 3 hours, 4 hours tops in a row.
Yeah.
Like I go to bed at like last night we went to bed at about 11:40, which was early, but the night before I'd only gotten 3 hours sleep. So literally 3 hours. And then last night I woke up, went to bed at 11:40, got up at 3:30 because I ate cheese and I have a dairy problem. So let's just say that's what the situation was. And so I ended up like laying in bed for hours, not sleeping. And then Sean got up and he went to work, and then I got back to sleep, and then I woke up and now I'm hurting. It's just a nightmare. But my viewing time, I'm watching, we ended up closing out a lot of shows. I'm pretty sure I told you last week, Santa Inc. we finished. We finished The Witcher this week. 20-something in Austin, which is a kind of a Canadian version of Real World. And I say Canadian, it's not Canadian, but in Real World, they always had a pup character. They always had this person who's causing problems, who's always where's the Karen in the house? This was, everyone was like, oh, I love you all. And we go at the end of the show, they all stayed in Austin. How often does that happen in the real world? Yeah, they couldn't wait to get out of there half the time.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I like the Real World, and I like this kind of house thing, but they need to cast better next time. There's way too much kumbaya here.
Yeah.
Let's see. So since we finished Witcher, we started back on Wheel of Time, which half the time I'm like going, wait, where's Henry Cavill? And he's like, that's The Witcher. We're on Wheel of Time now. Okay, that's right. We started the new one. I was a little drunk or high or something. So, sometimes
I'm right there with you. If I had,
yeah.
it blends. Yep.
Anyway, so the Portal from Hell, which is the show I'm watching on Discovery Plus. This is the one with Jack Osborne in it. The weird thing is they don't find shit. All the other paranormal shows, there's something really scary that happens, or oh, that's really interesting. It's like they're, and I know I don't want them to add scary shit to it, but they need to. I mean, then don't. They've got to. Something's wrong. Nothing's scary. I'll sit there and I enjoy all the people on the show, and every once in a while there'll be something that'll be like, ooh, but it's like, it all feels very. It's kind of they say that when you go into a like a hospital or something, and it's all very clean, and it just doesn't have. There's no grit to it. There's a term for it. I can't think of it right off the top of my head, but it's how you go into these scary situations and there's nothing scary. One thing they did that was interesting, though, they were at the Carey Hotel up in Placerville, and normally most of these paranormal shows, with the exception of Ghost Adventures, they are all on the East Coast and the South, and this was, it's always nice when they come up to California and show stuff, because we've got some good paranormal places, but like I said, only Ghost Adventures is based out of Vegas, so normally they come this direction, where all the rest of them are, oh, here we are in Massachusetts again. Yeah, give me a gun. So
what place did you call that?
It was the Carey Hotel.
Carey Hotel
In Placerville.
I think that may have been, my mother may have worked there cleaning rooms for a short time when she was young.
Wow.
Yeah. Now I'm not totally sure but I can ask her at some point, but I think that's the place.
Or she may even have heard the rumors about it and stuff. So
she may have started the rumors now.
Okay, Queer Eye, the new Queer Eye just started.
Oh, I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, I'm so glad.
They're also in Austin, which is weird. But the first one is about this 58-year-old woman who dresses trashy. And so, her kid and her grandchild are like, grandma's a whore type thing. Well, she wears Daisy Dukes, and her boobs are hanging out, and then she wears this severe, the wig or the haircut that the Queen's Gambit girl always wears, with the bangs, severe bangs, and the long straight hair, and that's become a thing now, by the way. I just saw a newscaster with that same haircut, and I'm like, okay, this is we've moved to a strange place now. And so but she has this hair, and she keeps insisting it's her own, and Jonathan's like, oh girl, you're not fooling anybody with that wig. But he doesn't say that to her, because she won't take the wig off for him to style her hair, or even style the wig. She won't take the wig off. And so it was really, at the end, spoiler, but it's not really, but at the end, the daughter goes, I didn't realize my mom's problems stemmed from her hair. And which I thought was totally, I understand. Well, like, for instance, when have you ever seen all those commercials for people with hearing aids? And it's like, well, I didn't want to get the hearing aid because people would see it and know that I had a hearing aid. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? You'd rather go around being deaf when you have the opportunity to hear, because you're worried about vanity?
It is a real stigma.
It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And so that was where her problem was. The second one, we didn't watch the second one. We skipped to the third one because there is a really cute guy.
Oh, okay.
And this is a guy who he has a real problem with because they're in Texas, of his appearance. He first of all, they wash his hair, and when they wash his hair, the water turns brown from his hair being so greasy and awful. Well, he raises cattle, so he's Stinky Boy, and that's what they call him. And so they're like going, okay, now would you date a girl who had your situation where she smelled bad and her hair was gross, and he's like, well, no, and he goes, so why would you think somebody else would want to date you looking like this? And it's like, there was some like, tough love there going on. But what I love about the show is that they always, the guys never push too far that they're hurting their feelings.
Yeah.
They're really helping the people out. And most of the time, the people are very accepting of the help they're getting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a pretty good show. It really is, because it's teaching lessons, and I just love the fact that Jonathan is just such a stereotype, and I love him for it.
I have come to say he is actually my favorite on the show.
Well, I hate Antonio because he left Jonathan, cheated on him, and left him, and so nowadays it's just like, the guy who fixes up the house, the guy who does Bobby. The clothes, and Jonathan, the other two, they don't even need to be on the show.
Oh, Karamo, yeah, he's the one that takes care of he's a social worker. So
I know I like him, but he's not necessary most of the time. And then Antonio is just a horrible person. So
well, I don't know. I love this really is one of my favorite shows, and I think one of the reasons is because it is, well, you don't read my writing, that's okay. But most of my books are about people that are just at this, they're either trapped or they're at this horrible point in their life, and then they transform, and and that's one of the things I love about shows like Queer Eye, is because you find somebody and then you help them like transform, like come out of become a butterfly out of their,
Okay, so now you're describing Hallmark movies.
There's a lot of decent. No, there's maybe 2 or 3 decent ones.
They're not bad. I mean, they fill a void.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to me.
Yes.
On Andy and I know you don't like Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper, but I'll tell you.
No, I love Anderson Cooper.
This year, their show. First of all, Anderson was so drunk by hour 3 that he did nothing but giggle the whole time.
I heard that. Yeah.
And he doesn't have a good giggle for a man. Yeah. And Andy got he started doing rants and stuff on Bill de Blasio. He did it on a couple other things. It was very funny. And they were funny because they're meant to be funny.
Okay.
They had Sherry O'Terry on, and she's doing toilet paper cozies, because that's what she did during the pandemic. And she gives them all like backstories, and it was, I mean, I was crying. I was laughing so hard.
Oh,
She's
cool.
so talented. Why is that woman not always available to me? And then they had Leslie Jordan on. And so Andy Cohen always plays games with his guests. So he goes, okay, let's find out who Leslie Jordan gives a fuck about. Well, he didn't say fuck, but gives a damn about. And so one of them was Pete Davidson, and he's like, oh, I like Pete, and he's like, they're like, really, you like Pete? Why do you like Pete? He goes, I like bad boys. And they're going, really? And he goes, yeah. He says, it's dirty fingernails, tattoos, and chipped teeth drive me wild. And I'm like, ew, that's so horrible. But that's the thing, that chipped teeth, my God. Okay. to each his own.
Mhm.
That was, and then they did mention his picture where he was in front of a convertible and he was shirtless back in the 70s. You remember that picture?
Of who?
Hairy chest, Leslie Jordan.
Oh yeah, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And he goes, well, that's all the haters out there who think that I wasn't hot at some point. I was hot. Okay. And it's like, yes, yeah, just because, we're in our 60s now doesn't mean that we did
Yeah.
not have a good point. It's like when you posted that picture of you when you were, what, 16, and
Oh,
claiming that it was like your picture now.
no,
Um,
I don't think I
well,
did
that's how it
that, but
felt.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. It felt like, oh, look, I just took this picture of me. Yeah, which decade of you? But
It was
it's
pretty.
like, it's okay to go back and go, oh, wow. I mean, I remember somebody found my picture with the chops
Oh yeah.
years later and go, oh my God, I masturbated about you a lot. Like, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like, wow, you had a fan out there and you never even knew about it. So,
Yeah.
and we did have our moments. Let's see. Oh, on HBO, something you cannot miss, the
Okay.
Harry Potter reunion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God, I was in bliss for an hour and 40 minutes. It was so exciting. I mean, it was nice. First of all, they didn't bring back like Maggie Smith or some of
Mhm.
the older, Emma Thompson. They didn't bring back a lot of the bigger actors, but they brought back Ron Weasley's dad, and they brought back
Oh.
Helena Bonham Carter. And it was funny because Helena Bonham Carter was with Harry, and they were laughing, about how much fun it was and what, how they did this, now they did that. And it's like, yeah, because they're acting.
Mhm.
We sit there and we hate some of these characters,
Mhm.
but they Ray Fiennes says, I was telling my sister that they want me to do a Harry Potter movie, and she's like, what part? And he goes, Voldemort, and she goes, oh my God, you've got to do the part. Oh my God. Oh, because it doesn't matter, good or bad, you want to be a part of this franchise.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's fun being the bad guy. So
Yeah.
but so you got to see the characters, talking about what things were like. It said that Emma Watson was considering leaving the show at one point. I think honestly, it sounded more like it was a dollar grab, which why not?
Yeah.
But she said that on the set, because there weren't a lot of girls,
Mm.
especially earlier on.
Yeah.
And so she was friends with Haggard,
Mm.
and she hung out with him a lot. And I thought that is just so sweet,
Yeah.
and just the little things you learned about it, and what they, how they said the first one with Chris Columbus directing was like a whole discovery thing. So everything was fun and they played all the time. And then as they progressively got more and more into it, got heavier and heavier, and they changed directors and it changed direction and so it was very fascinating the way they constructed the documentary, as well as just seeing everybody back again, and the kids, how they've grown up and what they've done with their lives and stuff. So it's kind of fun. And then the only other thing is that happened this week is I watched Don't Look Up. Have you watched it yet?
No.
It's Leonardo DiCaprio.
Mhm.
It's Jennifer Lawrence, Meryl Streep, Jonah Hill. And what happens is Jennifer Lawrence finds out that there is a comet heading right towards Earth, and it's going to be there with 6 months. So we need to, and it's going to hit Earth. So we need to do something about it. And it's everything the politicians can do to spin this a better way. And I mean, it's so Dr. Strangelove for our generation. It's bizarre, the social media, the bullshit that they have to put up with. Brian hated it for all of the reasons why it was good,
Mm.
because it's a satire on the world the way it is right now.
Yeah.
I would rather see the earth blow up than give you one moment of my time, you know, that kind of stuff. And so it was really good, and the acting's good. It's really funny if you can get past the fact that, you know, a comet's going to hit the earth, because it's like this terrible situation. But it's kind of like if we had Independence Day, no, not Independence Day, the one where they the asteroid was coming towards the earth, Bruce Willis, Ben Affleck, remember that one?
Gosh, yes.
If that one was a comedy, which it kind of was, but unintentionally.
Intended, but yeah.
Yeah, but if it was that's how this is. It's like it's hilarious at times, and but it's, you're sitting there going, oh, I can see this happening.
Armageddon,
thank you. Yeah. So I felt it was a good watch. And you've got to understand that this is a comedy.
Mm-hmm.
This is you know, a satire on well, maybe not too much satire on our life right now.
Mm-hmm. I've heard so many people talk about how much they love it, and it's now one of their favorite movies, and then other people who just say they hate it. They hate it so much. So
and I can understand why they'd hate it. I mean, there's certain elements that are, it's tough. It's tough to think that we're living in this kind of bullshit.
Right.
But you got to separate that, because this is entertainment.
Yeah.
I did want to mention that I finished The Great, which is on Hulu, which is about Peter the Great,
yeah,
Catherine the Great. The last episode, they said fuck about a zillion times. Everyone's saying fuck, and it's funny because the spoiler alert, but Catherine's mother comes to visit in like episode 6, and she keeps trying to have sex with Peter, who's her daughter's husband, and he keeps trying to fight her away, and finally she comes over and forces him to have sex, and he's got her up against the window, and the windows open up, and she flies out and dies. So then ultimately Catherine finds out that he fucked her mother and killed her, and he's like, I didn't kill her, she fell out the window, that wasn't my fault, it just happened. And she goes, what is wrong with you, do you have to fuck everyone? And he goes, well, I fucked everybody in this room, men and women. And so Catherine looks at her best friend and goes, you too? And she goes, it was an orgy, does that even count? That was my favorite line from that episode. But the series is amazingly written. It's so funny. And it's, you know, I mean, they're using a very wide paintbrush when they're taking from history, but it's so worth it. It's such a good show. This is the end of season 2. So, you know, pray that they will bring back season 3 and 4. I can't wait. It's just so good. And
that's one of the ones I'm going to watch.
Other than that, and by the way, her mother is Gillian Anderson.
Love her.
Yeah. So
I remember when you guys were talking about that, and Brian accidentally said Jillian. Yeah,
I don't remember.
From Jennifer Slept Here, the actress. Remember
Jennifer
Cancer
Slept Here.
She was one of the. She was the Queen of Hearts in one of the Alice movies.
Helen Bonham Carter.
No, Jillian. What's her name? Doesn't matter at this point.
Okay, moving on. Yeah. So, tell me about your week.
Oh, wow. Well, actually, before I do, I will say that one of the things that you were talking about is you know, with Harry sitting there talking with Helen Bonham Carter, and we have to remember that these are people playing parts too. The more that I hate a character, the more the actor is doing their job.
Right.
And that is one of the things that I will say with oh gosh, what was her name? The Imelda Stanton.
Yeah.
and she was playing
Doris
Umbridge. Hate her.
Oh
Hate
yeah.
her to the point when I see a picture of her, I just instantly am like, ugh. And that's because Imelda did her job. Made me hate that character. And Helen Bonham Carter, I thought, was absolutely brilliant in that movie. And to me, she was scarier than Voldemort.
Well, yeah, because she was a loose gun. You never, and it's funny because on set they said she was a loose gun. You never knew what she was going to bring to each take. She goes, because it was Malfoy's father. He goes, so we do one take, and then they go, let's try that again. And it's like, what's she going to bring this time? You know, it was always something more and more, and which is great because in that kind of a role, that's her role, is to be just, you don't know what to expect from her. And I know it's harder on a movie set to have that kind of character, but amazing what it brings to her character.
Yeah. Okay, so my week started out, well, today I've been having some swelling in the side of my beautiful face, and I think it's teeth related. So I got an emergency appointment, went in today, and they took some x-rays and basically said, well, we're not sure. We think that it may be something under your bridge that you had in like 20 something years ago problem. So we're going to give you some antibiotics, and we're going to try to do a referral to an orthodontist or whatever it is. And so everything that we do is going to be paid for by your insurance, and everything they do isn't. So that'll be, just a little over $2,000. So we're going to also book you an appointment the Friday, so we can get you in here and figure out everything that's wrong with your mouth, so that we can basically do it and charge you for it here. I have realized that part of my problem with dental stuff isn't so much that I am, like scared with them, but I've been so traumatized with the crap, horrible dentists that I have gone to in the past that it's just automatic. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be, I just take, give me some gas, take them all out at this point. Give me some fake ones. I don't care. I'm tired of dealing with it. Anyway, so we'll find out. I went to, so a dear friend of ours, Mr. Charlie, had a small little gathering of just the, 4 of us. And because he wanted to play this new game that he got called Murder. Have you seen these things? They're basically a self-contained thing with everything that you need to solve this murder.
Okay.
Yeah. So like papers and different, things, and, you find things, and you find codes in things, and you break the codes and this, that. And this one was it was easy level. 2 hours later, one of us, we kind of figured out who did it, but we weren't totally sure. And then finally, Mr. Luridine looked it up on the phone and found the answer who did it, because we were all like, this says it's going to take an hour. It took 2.5 hours, and we're like, who cares? Who cares at this point? So anyway, but it was just a pleasant little, quick evening, impromptu. I watched one episode of Loki and was bored stiff. I could have cared less. I am going to try to finish the series, because somebody told me, oh, you get to episode 4 or 5 and it's really good. And I'm like, okay, there's 6 episodes. Anyway, so I'm going to try to finish it. But I watched Falcon and Winter Soldier, and I thought that was really good. Finished that. I have liked all of the Marvel TV shows, but I'm just not feeling Loki yet. Anyway, last night I started watching Rupaul season 11, which is one of the ones that I haven't seen, and it was really fun. It's the one with Evie Oddly.
Okay.
I'm saying that right? And the big girl, named after dessert. I forget.
Cherry's Jubilee.
No, she's the big black. They got mad at her because she was like,
oh, chocolate ganache.
Yes, yeah, that's her. And she's really fun, and I think she's really talented. But man, they were giving her shit for like just being crazy.
Well, her problem is that she doesn't have a lot of money, and so her clothing is not up to par where a lot of the other, a lot of these girls, they can pull stuff off of racks. They can go into like a thrift shop and find something kind of quirky and make it into something great. When you're her size, because she's a big girl, she's probably over 500 pounds. And so it's harder to clothe you, not a lot off the rack kind of stuff. So
right. So I'm 3 episodes into that, and I'm really enjoying it, actually. And then I did watch the first episode of Boba Fett. Have you seen that yet?
I have.
Okay. And it was okay. I mean, at first I was kind of like, and then by the end of it, I'm like, okay, what's next?
Well, and the thing is with the Boba Fett is what I like is that it shows him climbing out of that monster that he got thrown into.
Yeah.
During the Revenge of the Jedi, and killing the monster. Well, I think he killed the monster on his way out, but that was the one. You will be digested for years in his system.
1,000 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of fun, and I think this first one had to be the establishing, bring back the character. You remember this happening and this and this and that. I think they just needed to do that kind of thing to make it relevant again.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to what's next with that. I've been watching a lot of K-pop boy bands videos lately. They're just fun. They're just so fun. And then I've also been watching Dr. Pimple Popper on YouTube. I think she's really neat, and it's amazing how many people have stuff that they're going through with their skin and everything, and it's just amazing. I watched on YouTube. There's a channel, I think that started this year, and it's called Tribals, Trybals, where they go to a more restrictive part of India, and they have like the same 5 or 6 people that come into the studio, and then they expose them to things from all over the world that they haven't had any real exposure to. Like they had them watch like the We Are the World video, and then they were just like so moved and stuff like that. And then they showed them Cyndi Lauper's Girls Just Want to Have Fun, and how they're like, the guys were like, oh, she's a free bird, she's a free bird, she's she's a free spirit. And the girl, of course, the woman that's in there, she's all like, if I did this at my village, I'd be beaten. So I mean, it was just like, showing how, and like showing them Michael Jackson when he first debuted Billie Jean at the Apollo, and how the iconic that is in our culture. And they're like, this is why he is a legend. He's a legend. And they had never seen it before. They'd never really heard the song. They only knew his name. So, and then they exposed them to like Mr. Bean, and had them watch just all sorts of different things, and see their reactions to it. And you can tell some of them are just like, inside, they're just like bursting to want to go experience this and how it's really, affecting them and stuff. And yet, because of their culture and where they are and everything, it's repressive to where that stuff you don't do any of that. You don't watch any of that. That's not acceptable. So, and yet when they're watching it in this space, in this kind of safe space on the computer screen or whatever, they're actually like kind of getting into the music, and it's very, very interesting to see the cultural differences. So that's TRYBALS on YouTube. It's worth watching if you're interested in stuff like that. And finally, I watched Being the Ricardos. I really liked it. I thought it takes place over a week of time, during a time when Lucy is like being accused of being a communist. And it was a really well done show. Although the actor who played Ricky didn't really strike me as he did fine, but like maybe they could have found somebody that fit the role a little better. But everybody else was great. Absolutely great. So what did you watched it?
No.
Yeah? No, okay. So yeah. Give it a watch. If you're interested at all, give it a watch, because
I'm definitely going to see it.
It's really well done, really well acted. And yeah, so there you go. So we want to remind you to be loud, be proud, be too much to be you. Fat Market Clothing wants those of us who've been told that we are too much of something to turn those negatives into positives. And Chubs Gone Wild listeners, you can do that by using the code FM WildChub to get 20% off ordering anything over at fatmarketclothing.com. And also, don't forget that you can get 4 free romances, queer romances, by joining the Queer Romance Inc. email list. And it's completely free. And you get 4 free ebooks that are current and new. And Last Romance, I believe, is one of them right now. So if you want a free copy of Last Romance, let's go over and join the list. It is linked on our Facebook page. All right. Well, let's find out about advice. You ready to give some advice? This is a good one. So 2 weeks ago, I left on a short vacation to visit a friend across country. I said goodbye to my amazing fiance with tears in my eyes, even though I was only going to be gone for 6 days. We're in our late 20s, have been together for 4 years, and have always had a strong, loving relationship. When I reached my friend's apartment, I met her roommate, Josh, who turned my world upside down. I have never given another man a second look since during my relationship, but Josh and I had such an instant connection. It was unsettling. We spent hours talking, sharing stories, and getting to know each other's backgrounds. Well, my fiance and I have lots in common. There are issues that we've compromised on, like number of children, religion, saving versus spending. Josh and I, however, seemed to be in sync on every issue we addressed. Nothing physical happened, but when I left the trip, the trip, feeling sad that I was leaving Josh, I am absolutely dumbfounded by these feelings. I obviously don't know Josh well enough to know that we would work out as a couple, but he introduced a doubt in my relationship that I can't seem to shake. I still love my fiance, but now I'm questioning if our foundation is strong enough for a marriage, which is supposed to happen in 6 months. What should I do? Girl, you should realize Josh is gay. Just saying.
Yeah, this happens all the time, people. That you're always going to meet somebody who's a little more exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a thing of life. You can't go into. I'm not saying that. You don't even know that there could be anything between you and Josh.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that I've been in certain places and I went, I don't know who this person is, but oh my God, they're making me sweat. And then, you know,
Yes.
one thing I do to always kind of shake myself out of that is because you don't have sex with them, you don't know anything really about them except a little personality that you kind of throw back and forth.
Yeah.
I always figure, you know, they snore really bad. They don't brush their teeth enough. They don't clip their toenails, you know, often. You know, I always find some hidden reason why, you know, they can't piss in the toilet without getting it on the wall. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll find a reason for me to throw this out of my head. Or, you know, they're involved with other people. How about that? You know,
Right. Yeah, I don't know if it's that instantaneous that you're like, if you are questioning the relationship with your fiance over a tiny little thing like that, or somebody that you really don't know, maybe you should question your relationship, but that doesn't mean you're going to have a relationship instantly with this other guy, because, you know, who knows, like you said, you make up the reasons, but really you don't know the reasons that, and I'm just thinking that Josh is gay. Anyway, but okay, so let's see what Dear Prudie had to say. By the way, this does come from the Dear Prudie column over at slate.com. Please go check them out. Slatey Prudie says, I don't know you or Josh, but I can assure you that if you two became a couple, you would also find issues on which you would have to compromise. The alluring stranger you've only known for a few days is one with whom you never had to fight over credit card debt or messiness or how many kids you want. I, however, can't tell if Josh helped put in relief some deep fundamental problems in your relationship. Is that a typo, or does it just me not put in relief some deep whatever? Anyway, or if Josh just reminded you that you're still young and settled on a life partner awfully early in the game. If Josh is it and you'll regret forever not pursuing the possible relationship. Well, that's crappy advice. You need to accept that every so often, even for the happiest couples, a Josh comes along that makes one wonder, what if? So you have some deep thinking to do. Maybe if a few more weeks at home, the thoughts of Josh will fade away and you'll have your answer. Maybe this encounter will have made you realize you've been fooling yourself. What you do is not do anything rash, and instead use both your rational and emotional minds to explore what is the best decision about your future. I'm sorry, that is a punt answer. It's just that, I don't know. Just don't do anything rash.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you can say to this kind of a person.
Yeah. Yeah, but, you know, I mean, to me, the bottom line is if you're having that much doubt over just that, go back and be with your fiance and find out if that continues, because, you know, but yeah. And also spell check, Prudie, spell check. All right. Hey, Chubs, favorite fish to eat?
Now, are we talking fish or are we talking seafood?
Well, it says fish, but I'll go.
Okay, well, if it's fish, my favorite fish, I like, you know, like a halibut or a cod. You know, I like a kind of more of a clean white fish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Favorite fish not to eat?
Anything freshwater.
Oh, okay.
Like trout and that kind of stuff. They're too bony. They there's not a lot of meat a lot of time on them. You know, it's just and my mother used to always make trout with the head on and you know, and fry them whole, and then you had to kind of peel back everything and to get to the meat, and there was those fish bones are horrible. And my brother used to always take the eyes and move them around on my plate and stuff. He'd pop the eyes out of the head.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I used to hate fish as a kid because I would always get a piece that had so many freaking bones in it. And fish bones, especially like in cans of tuna, every once in a while there'll be like a little fish bone in a can of tuna. You can eat it because it just crunches. If you've ever had some tuna and there's a little crunch in it, it's a bone and it won't hurt you. It just, to me though, it's gross. It's like a shell in an egg.
Okay.
Anyway, but my favorite fish not to eat, which I think is just like a swimming around fish, is probably a little girl betta fish. So
You can't eat fish out of an aquarium.
well, I know that's my favorite fish not to eat. Like I don't want to eat it.
That's dumb. Okay, go ahead.
Here, figure how dumb this is. How many movies? Trivia question: how many movies did Betty White do?
See, I don't know TV movie wise, and the thing is, she did. I don't remember a lot of movies that she did. Even in the tributes, they didn't show a lot of movies. They showed TV shows.
Right.
So I'll say 44.
Not bad, but it was at least 30.
Okay.
So not as much. Yeah, but when they said that, I'm like, I don't remember any movies that I know of that she's done.
Well, I remember The Proposal with she played the grandmother in The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds.
Oh yeah. Okay, because there were pictures of that. Yeah. But I don't think I ever saw it.
Oh, it's good. And he's naked in it.
Oh, is that the one? Oh,
Yeah.
well, I'll have to watch it.
It's good. Yeah, even though he's shaved, but he's still, beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. All right. Well, what's in your lunchbox? Mr. Moose wrote in and told us. He said, I gained some weight over the holiday. So ate shrimp rolls for lunch. My food tracking app says those were the lowest calorie items on the menu. We're good. Steamed shrimp, cilantro, basil, lettuce with a hoisin sauce. That sounds horrible.
No, well, I don't like the cilantro part, but I'm not a big fan of these kind of these wraps. Well,
yes.
they're kind of egg roll, but they're not egg rolls.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that bothers me the most is that I can see through it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like veins, I'm like,
yeah,
like Anderson Cooper naked. You can see the bones and the veins in his body. So it's awkward. It's awkward. He's so it's too translucent for food.
Yeah, I hear you. But no, same way. These are too gelatinish for me, and gelatin makes me barf. But no, I don't like the cilantro or the thing. But I'll open it up and eat the shrimp though. That sounds good. All right, let's see what else he sent in. Kicked ass in the gym today, so rewarded myself with fried shrimp plate. Crunchy shrimp cooked perfectly with tender meat, side of slaw and mac and cheese. Now that
look how many shrimp there are. Oh my god. And those are the kind of shrimp that you don't have to dip in anything. You just
yep, pile it in.
And the mac and cheese and the slaw both look good too. So
yep.
There's not more.
That's it. You can see these photos by going over to the Facebook group, Chubs Gone Wild, and check them out. All right. Currently, LGBTQ people of color in America have a disproportionately high rate of new HIV infections. Golden Rule Services of Sacramento want you to know about an important tool in preventing you from contracting HIV. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, aka PrEP, is a medication proven to be 99% effective when preventing HIV infection. To learn more about PrEP, call your local sexual health clinic. To find out more about Golden Rule Services, visit sacgrs.org. You can also send us an email at chubsgonewild.com. Leave us a comment on chubsgonewild.com. Like us on Facebook. at Chubs Gone Wild, Facebook.com/Chubs Gone Wild. Watch videos of the show over on YouTube. Just go over and search Chubs Gone Wild. Please consider becoming a patron of the show over at patreon.com/Matt Burlingame. Find Tom's movie and TV reviews over at swanerandjudd.com. Find their podcast in iTunes or in iHeartRadio, and make sure that you listen to it while you shower. Find out more about my books at justkisstheguy.com, and check out my other podcast at ksexshow.com. And give us a call at
408-69 Chubs.
Yes. So what did you do for New Year's?
We stayed home.
Mm-hmm.
The folks gave us or sent us some Swiss Colony, beef and cheese. So we broke that out. And of course, I ate too much cheese and spent all of New Year's Eve after night in the can, but it was good.
Do you take Lactaid?
What?
Do you take Lactaid?
No, because I don't eat that much cheese. I don't like taking shit.
Yeah.
And then we got a pizza from Papa Murphy's.
Oh, love that.
And it was actually really good. It was just sausage, pepperoni, and some other meat, and it was really tasty. It was really yummy.
Did you get the sausage in your mouth?
Which of course had cheese on it, so that I paid for it.
You're all like, hey, I don't eat cheese. I don't like cheese, but man, I'm eating cheese all day long and then I'm pooping all night. Get yourself some Lactaid. Just keep it on hand. It's cheap. It has helped me tremendously. I'm telling you. Anyway, that sounds fabulous. I stayed home. I stayed here. Mr. Lawrence came over and did he? I don't know. I don't think I really did anything on Christmas or on New Year's Eve. On New Year's Day, that's when we did the murder party at night, and Mr. Lawrence came over in the daytime, and he brought over some steaks that he had made, and we had steaks for lunch, and it was just very nice hanging out, and so it was a lovely, lovely time. Very low key. And
no black-eyed peas.
COVID, we're good with that. What?
No black-eyed peas.
No, everybody kept going on about black-eyed peas and cabbage and how and I'm just like, that was just not one of the traditions that I ever had any time. So sounds awful, but if you're into it, that's great, but not my thing. Yeah.
I want to learn more about culture, but I won't eat any of their food.
Their food? Now, don't stereotype. No,
it's
just
stereotyping.
Apparently, it's something.
It's the food of the culture. Don't try to turn this around on me, boy. Don't try to do that.
I never heard any of it before.
Oh God, I just hate when you do that. Oh, look what you're doing. You're not being sensitive. What? Because I call their food? It's a cultural food. Yes, it's their food.
It's horrible. What
I'm going to
culture
come there and burn your car.
Now, that would be your people's culture. You're destructive. You're a colonizer.
Oh.
I know, them fighting words.
Oh, my God.
Anyway. All right. Well, great talking to you. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And we will catch you next time. You have a great week and Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye.